Bitcoin's one of those stories where if you're only casually interested in it, you just look at the price volatility and the deeper you look at it, the more you think it's like a generational or a decade-long trade.
In this video, the billionaire and CEO of MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, speaks about the Bitcoin volatility that happened in the last week and its potential impacts on new investors. Saylor talks about increasing institutional interest in Bitcoin despite the dip and the insane Bitcoin trade exchange volume over the period of the last few days. He also addresses the existential threat to Bitcoin is the concern over sustainability and energy usage, and the Sell Bitcoin scheme that was started by the FUD. Saylor also reveals the exclusive details regarding the meeting of Elon Musk with Bitcoin miners. Stay tuned till the end of this video to know the behind-the-scenes discussion of Michael Saylor's and Elon Musk's meeting with miners on the future of Bitcoin mining and recycling of wasted energy. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Wealthy Value, the community for people looking to become financially smarter. Make sure to subscribe to our weekly videos where we cover the future of business, innovation, and finance. Also, stick around till the end of this video where I will reveal some latest price prediction for Bitcoin based on technical chart analysis. Now, let's enjoy the video.
Last week, I think there are pros and cons. Clearly, there's a bit more volatility, and that would scare away weak non-committal players. But there's a ton of institutions that were very enthusiastic about it that decided they wanted to buy it when it was 30,000 around the beginning of the year. And then they watched to their chagrin as it doubled, and they thought, well, it can't double every quarter forever. It's ahead of itself. And then they stopped and they wouldn't buy. And so in circumstances like that, what you want is a dip where they get to get in at a very good price. And so a lot of people think, oh, the price traded down last week. But if you actually look at the exchange volume on Binance, which is probably the most liquid, greatest statistical example we have, on Black Thursday in March of 2020, Binance, that exchange traded 2 billion in an awful day, the worst day of the year by most people's recollections. On the day when MicroStrategy announced our purchase, August 10th, that exchange traded $1 billion of Bitcoin in the day. I think that exchange has traded up to $14 or $15 billion of Bitcoin on some days last week and traded $60 billion over the course of 6 days. And it's the bottom line. Bitcoin's up by a factor of 4. Liquidity's up by a factor of 5 to 8, even 10. And some institutions bought $60 billion of Bitcoin at a good price last week while someone got panicked over what I view as FUD, and they dumped it too cheap. You know what surprised me is that we've had a nonstop avalanche of good news. David Rubenstein, who's Jerome Powell's famous boss, endorses crypto. Larry Summers, the Secretary of the Treasury, endorses crypto. Goldman Sachs declares, they endorse Bitcoin, right? They're saying that this is a new asset class. Ray Dalio says he'd rather own Bitcoin than bonds, right? Coinbase comes public. An avalanche of really good news. Everything's working out great. I mean, if you'd asked me in August, do you expect to get the legitimization of Bitcoin like this? I wouldn't have, in my wildest dreams, expected so much good news to come. Everybody in that meeting, including Elon, are passionate believers in decentralization. The only reason we had the meeting is because we wanted to ensure the success of a decentralized cryptocurrency, and the source of the decentralization is energy usage. And the existential threat to Bitcoin is concerns over the sustainability of the energy usage. So to the extent that we want to defend Bitcoin, we need to manage any concerns, especially from uninformed parties concerning energy usage. We need to make sure that people that are hostile to Bitcoin and hostile to the crypto industry aren't defining those narratives and defining those models and defining those metrics. In the absence of any good information or any response on our part, they will define those models.
And what can be done to improve the understanding and perception of the current status. Can you give us some background on how that came together?
You know, Elon is a big believer in crypto technology as a force for freedom, and he's a big believer in Bitcoin as a long-term store of value, and he's expressed that sentiment in a number of ways, including taking a multi-billion-dollar position in Bitcoin. I think we all know he expressed a concern that he didn't want to see Bitcoin be the catalyst to bring to life dirty fossil fuels. And that created a bit of a Twitter stir. And that caused Bitcoin to dominate the news cycle all last week across the mainstream media. And I think it became pretty clear that that we have the Bitcoiners, we have a good story, but it's a very complicated story. And we need to find a way to share our story and to educate and get organized. So I think my first thought was there's no point in us tweeting back and forth at each other, because I don't think 280 character Twitters are right ways to educate the public and build consensus. So I reached out to Elon and I spoke with him, and we had a very long conversation. And from that, I asked him if he had relationships or had met with the Bitcoin miners. And Elon has expressed, right, on the record, he said he thought we would all benefit if we were able to publish energy usage and source of energy usage data. It turns out that Bitcoin miners don't actually have a good forum for communicating how they generate their energy. We don't have a shared common model for Bitcoin energy usage right now. My view is that energy usage is, energy efficiency is growing exponentially. The S19 miners are increasing by a factor of 5 in energy efficiency versus the S9s, and between the halvings and the shift to transaction fees and the upgrade of the miners, we're going to see energy efficiency increase exponentially and energy usage decrease exponentially. I don't think there's any models or any understanding of how that's working, and it's a fairly complicated subject. What I can say is I had some detailed discussions, and I asked Elon if he had relationships with the miners, and he said he'd like to meet them. So I reached out to the miners and I asked them if they'd like to meet Elon Musk, and they said yes, they would. And so we set up the meeting because he wanted to understand how they're mining and what their plans and futures are. And they wanted to understand his concerns. And we wanted to understand how we could be the good guys in the entire ESG debate, because I think that Bitcoin they are the good people. We are actually driving sustainability. It is a great way to recycle wasted energy, and we have a great energy story. And so I think that the group came together to get Elon's thoughts, and for us to brainstorm on what we can do in order to communicate constructively to the entire industry.
And there you have it, what Michael Saylor thinks about Bitcoin's volatility and sustainability concerns. Now, talking about Bitcoin price movement, the Bitcoin price is facing a hard time climbing up after 2 deadly crashes on May 19th and May 23rd. If we look at the technical chart, Bitcoin price has recovered roughly 30% from its crash on May 19th. This move up has resulted in a test of the resistance level at $40,586. It appears that investors began to book profits, pushing the pioneer cryptocurrency lower to where it currently trades at $37,486. The supply zone extending from $43,000 to $46,638, harboring the weekly open at $46,426, is extremely important. There's a high chance Bitcoin price will not slice through this in the coming week. Therefore, investors need to keep a close eye on this zone. Moreover, this rejection will mainly be caused by market participants caught off guard during the May 19th crash who are trying to break even. And that brings us to the end of today's video. What are your thoughts about the Bitcoin crashes and future prospects? Tell us in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.